Greetings, everyone, and welcome to the 193rd edition of Cinema Effect. I'm Zach, and I'm joined by Disney's number one hater, Jaden.
Howdy.
Howdy. What?
Nah, I just wasn't ready for it, so I don't know.
Like, you wanted me to, do the whole check-in thing? Like, are you ready to go?
Yeah, I just thought we'd have, another fucking 20 minutes of discussion pre-show. I don't know.
Oh, get over it. And our resident Irish citizen, PTA's number one fanboy, a.k.a. Fitzy, a.k.a. Liam.
Hey, what's up?
Not much. Liam's ready to go. I can tell.
Sure.
He's just got that vibe about him, you know what I mean?
It's that fresh cut.
That fresh cut, exactly. I wasn't going to say it, but everyone can see it now. Everyone can appreciate it. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Cinema Effect, the podcast where we review and talk about a different movie every single Monday. And this week, that movie is Bottoms, which opened in the US August 25th, 2023. It was directed by Emma, would you say Seligman? Seligman? It's a tricky one. I don't know. The E's and the I's. But it was directed by Emma. It's a comedy, and the synopsis says, 2 unpopular queer high school students start a fight club to have sex before graduation. That's interesting. I didn't quite catch that they were unpopular and gay. Did you guys catch that? It's interesting.
No, I should have had that down more.
That's cool. That's an interesting insight there from the synopsis.
Yeah,
okay.
this gay thing really feels out of the left field.
This gay thing. Yeah. What was that? What was it that dude in the movie said when he was like, can we get this gay shit over and done with? Remember that? That was good.
Yeah, the announcer at the end.
No, it was like the old dude with the white hair had like the fakest beard I've ever seen.
Yeah.
At the end, he was just like, "Can we get this ghost shit over and done with?"
Mm.
It was like, is that like half the people watching this movie? Anyway, Jane, what do you think of Bottoms?
I really liked it. Really, I had a great time. I love this kind of hyper exaggerated high school kind of atmosphere and vibe that they kind of crafted. I love that everything was pulled to the nth degree in kind of the melodrama and the kind of characterization of everything. And I think it really works effectively. And I think that there's so many just one-liners throughout the film that just are kind of really great, and because of that kind of formula that they've established. I had a really fun time. I thought it was great. Yeah.
Cool. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was an easy watch. 90 minutes. Check it out. Easy recommend from me. I say that, and the Discord basically revolted against this. But my main takeaway from just watching the film and the kind of sort of elevated humor and the cartoonish performances was just enjoyable to watch. But I can't even imagine how fun this movie must have been to be in. You know what I mean? To be a cast member on this, be part of this cast, and be improvising some of this shit, and and the bloopers just cemented that. But I thought that before, as I was watching it, I'm like, oh my god, if I was in this movie, this would probably be the most fun I've had in my life, to be honest. So good for them. You know what I mean? It's kind of like us doing our show. We're just doing it to tickle each other. We're just doing it to have some fun, and that's whatever. We're clearly having just as good of a time right now as they were filming Bottoms. So unless Fitzy hated it. Fitzy, did you hate it?
I did kind of hate it. I thought, I don't know. It was incredibly unfunny to me. It was pretty lame. I was looking forward to, Rachel Sennott delivering a good comedic performance. She was good in Bodies, and Shiva Baby, and I was looking forward to IRA or whatever it is, her being good as well. But it was just a letdown, man.
How disrespectful!
I don't understand it. I don't understand this movie. It's the humor is just not. Yeah, the humor is not something I recognize or understand. So
Didn't recognize it was funny.
Yeah, it was alien to me, Jaden.
Damn! Thank God we didn't get this one as a screener. You know what I mean? We'd have to boot Liam off the call and just continue. Okay, all right. So It's so funny. I didn't know what the dynamic was going to be. Now it's established. Now we know. I know Andy and Luke, of course, had some thoughts on Discord. And I wanted to ask right away anyway about the style of humour, what it was going for, how much it resonated, how much it connected with us, all that kind of shit I wanted to try and establish. We got the broad strokes, but I guess, Liam, did you laugh at all? Was there anything? A
I knew you'd ask
performance?
this. I was thinking about it the whole time.
Good. A
Um,
line? A particular, like, running gag? Anything? What'd you catch
um,
yourself doing?
I think I laughed. I don't know if I actually laughed at the movie or at the absurdity of like one of the lines, but when the coach was like, he was like admonishing them at the the late gym scene, and then he was kind of talking about his divorce and he was kind of ranting. I thought that was funny.
Oh, yeah.
That was one moment that was funny.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
or okay, there was another moment that I thought that I might maybe chuckled at. Was when they were fighting and Rachel was like smiling and she was like, "You're supposed to be fighting me," you know. I thought that was funny, but
Oh, yeah.
apart from that, I don't really, no.
Okay. Okay. That's fair enough. So, but in its general unfunniness for you, was it a painful experience, or was it just like, this is fine? Like, was there anything else you were able to latch onto and just like just be engaged with and enjoy, or was it like, oh, I'm actually not liking this? You know what I mean? I'm actually bored or whatever.
Yeah, I think it was just boredom. I wasn't like the humor wasn't ever overly cringe where I was like hating on the movie or anything. It was just it never engaged me. It never made me laugh, I guess.
Okay. And Jaden, on the other hand, I assume you just like loved how horny this thing was.
No, that's not what I liked about it. No, no,
Oh, really?
no.
I mean, that was one of my first takeaways. Is that this is a horny
Was it?
movie. It's hard to
Is it?
deny.
I mean, is it more horny than other kind of comedies of this genre? I don't know. Kind of just
Yeah.
standard practice, isn't it?
I mean, so hang on. So was the plot of Superbad also to get laid? It was, right? Or
I
was it?
think so.
Probably.
Yeah,
I think it was.
I think
So, like, maybe,
Booksmart
like,
kind of follows a similar trend as well.
yeah, true. Yeah, it's definitely a template. Let's say. Yeah, okay. I don't know. I feel like I feel like it was pretty horny. I'm not gonna lie. I can't. I'm not gonna try and compare it exactly to Superbad. Superbad was also pretty horny,
Hmm.
but this is probably top 5 horniest movies I've seen.
Well, you
You
need
know
to
what
watch
I mean?
more movies, man.
Oh well, yeah. Sorry, Mister 2800 or whatever. Um, but yeah, I don't know. Like, a lot of vagina talk in this movie. You know what I mean?
Oh, did that make you uncomfortable?
Oh yeah, incredibly. Yeah. So all right.
It obviously
So
didn't make
no.
Jane uncomfortable. He was thriving in it.
Yeah.
He was in his
Really?
element.
Mm.
Yeah.
I thought it was actually tame. I was like, could have said this and this and this, because I'm well versed, obviously, in the vagina talk.
Oh yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. We know that. So that's what I'm saying. So like for you, like transitioning now to not really sort of half, not really joking. Like you didn't think it was that horny?
I mean, not overly. No, not really.
Oh, all right. Fair enough. Okay. Fair enough. So like,
I mean, I feel like even though that was like the premise and like that's why they set up the Fight Club thing, I feel like it
yeah,
constantly like fell to the back very fast in favor of like I don't know other comedic elements and storylines.
like the cartoonishness of
Yeah,
and the absurdity sort of just more in general.
yeah.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. The dialogue and language, like obviously a ton of swearing in this movie. But like, I don't know. Part of it felt a little bit different to me. I don't know. I'm not like a comedy expert by any means, but like this film had a different tone to me than Superbad, a little bit.
Because it was written by a woman, probably.
Well, I wasn't going to say it, but no, I really don't. I don't know exactly what it is. I think the performances are a bit more heightened than Superbad.
Oh yeah, big time. I think it's like severely
Yeah.
overacted, but like that's like Spooky like criticized it for Disney acting, but like I think he should like pretty easy to recognize that it's intentional, right?
Yeah. I don't know. Did I think I think Spooky. I don't know. Does he recognize? Surely he recognizes it's intentional. I can understand not liking it.
I don't know, but let me go back through the
Let us
because
spend
there's a
this
lot of
episode
stuff. Yeah.
analyzing all that. But oh no, it was 100% intentional, and I get whether or not you dig it or not. I guess fair. I dug it. I thought it was funny. It took a little bit for me to get used to. Like when those football players shot for the first time. I mean, they're just total cartoons the whole movie,
Yeah.
and that's their thing. And they're like the whole movie's already overacted, and then they're like actually another level above, like just them. So the way that they stand out, I enjoyed, and it did take me a second, like when they have that intro at the carnival or whatever, and they come out like I don't know, they come out like in a line dancing or whatever they were doing. I was like, all right, like I know this is certainly establishing where this is gonna where this is gonna stand in terms of the humor with everyone else and the other characters and stuff. But so it took a little bit for me to get used to. But once I understood that's what it was doing, and I sort of just bought into the absurdity of how non-human these interactions were, I couldn't help but enjoy it. You know what I mean? Jeff Hungy. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think everything with Jeff is like A class gold.
Really?
Yeah. Right. Okay. Yeah.
Are you kidding me? You find that shit funny?
I think it's hilarious. Yeah, I think such a like overt like critique of like typical high school footballers. Like I understand why it might not be funny, but I think everything about it just landed for me. I think like just completely dismantling them as what they are. I don't know. I think it's really functioned really well in this film.
Excuse me, don't talk shit about the quarterback in an American high school.
Oh, that's why he's not liking it. He's Friday night.
I'm at the peak of my interest for fictional football players.
His fucking test is flowing. You really watch this at the wrong time. You know.
Yeah.
I can.
No, but
that's all.
But come on, Jeff was like, that was like something from a YouTube video. That was not movie worthy comedy right there. That was YouTube skit stuff, man. That was weak.
That's an interesting
regardless
comparison.
of my interest in Friday Night Lights.
Right. Okay. I already had a Friday Night Lights comparison prepared, so thanks for that. But okay, all right. I mean, you didn't like when he hit his shins on the car, or was that like the peak of what you're talking about?
Yeah. Oh, no.
Okay. All right. See, Jane and I like that, right?
Did you?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I can tell.
That's good. Everyone carried him off. Yeah. I mean, the YouTube skit comparison's a fair one and an interesting one. I don't disagree with it at all, but I don't know. It worked for me with the rest of the movie. I feel like I've had that. I couldn't tell you an example off the top of my head, but I feel like I've had that critique before with some comedy in some movies. But it's usually because like the rest of the movie doesn't quite fit with it or something. I don't know. Something about it felt right when like I guess it's what you're talking about, Jane, with like it being a critique of, to Fitzy's dismay, of the American football sort of jock stereotype. When they are sort of the antagonists of the story and they're also the only ones heightened, it sort of works.
I think
everything's
heightened. I don't think that the only one's heightened.
Definitely the only one's heightened.
Sorry. It's what I said. They're heightened above the others.
Right.
You know what I mean? And like when they're also the antagonists and all that sort of shit, like I don't know, something about that it just worked for me. It wasn't an issue personally. But yeah, I don't disagree that all the other acting is also overacted.
Yeah. By the way, Luke said that.
Oh yes.
These Disney Channel overactors are pissing me off. This movie has no internal logic, and there's always shit going on in the background. He says 10 minutes into the shit show, and I'm rethinking my whole life. So I don't really know if that indicates that he understood.
Right. It's not clear yet.
Yeah.
Yeah. Look, needs to clarify. Okay. I liked how there was always stuff going on in the background. I think that's funny. I think it's cool. I was always like looking in the background. Oh, dude, that part. What was the part when what were they doing? Oh, when Mr. G told them to reenact the Treaty of Versailles, and like in the background, like you see, like I don't know what the hell they were doing. They were like dancing or some shit, and I'm just like, something about that's just really funny to me. Of like how these kids in the background are interpreting this task. You know what I mean? It's like that's the weirdest thing you could ask someone to do. But that was good, dude. Mr. G in general, come on. right?
Yeah, I think he might have been like I liked him, but like I don't think I have the attachment that it seems like a lot of other people had.
Oh,
Yeah, I thought it
oh, I
was
thought it was
great, but
great.
I think like of the things I liked in the film,
Okay,
still
okay.
good, but kind of.
Yeah. Okay, I get you. I really liked him for sure. The fact he does nothing, the fact he like refereed this fight club, you know, it made me think: is there a teacher that we can think of that was like our Mr. G, without naming names, of course, but is there a Mr. G equivalent?
That just lets shit happen, basically.
Yeah, like sort of does little. Not that they don't care necessarily, but sort of just like do the bare minimum of like what you'd think their actual job description is in favor of like support, like being like fun and supportive in like other weird ways, I guess.
Well, I know of one that I'm pretty sure was recently let go from the high school that we went to.
Oh,
Um,
are you able to indicate who they are to us?
I don't know. A sport teacher, I guess I could say that.
Okay. Yeah, PE teachers definitely
Yeah,
fit the mold a little
and
bit.
some of them are hard asses though as well. Some of them are fun.
Yeah, not all of them, but like, I
Mm.
feel like they have potential.
Yeah.
I'm thinking
I
of
feel like you
our.
kind of you need a PE or a health teacher or someone that like really doesn't care.
I'm thinking of a certain year 8 RE teacher, Jaden.
Nah, he would.
What?
I don't. He would.
Really? That's shocking to me.
I think he's happy to let like mild things go, but I think he'd reel it in pretty fast.
So you're saying he wouldn't referee our fight club?
No.
No, probably not. But I don't think anyone would actually do that.
Oh, I think I think that there would be a teacher that would do it.
Oh, the person you're thinking of would actually referee the fight club.
I feel like they would. Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right. I need to. Yeah. All right. You got to tell me who this is after. That's actually. I sort of didn't even account that in the question, to be honest.
Yeah.
But that's pretty shocking. Okay, so Mr. G wasn't your favorite.
Yeah, he was good, but yeah. Sorry.
Yeah. Okay. He improvised a lot of his lines.
Yeah.
He's like a football player, which is ironic.
Yeah, I saw that at the end. I was curious about his history.
Yeah. I mean, you could tell in the bloopers that he improvised a lot of his lines because like they just had that. They showed like 3 takes of him doing the same scene. It was just every time was completely different. So that's always fun. But anyway, so like, who are the standouts to you then, or is there?
Well, it's funny that my favorite character is actually Andy's least favorite, which was Hazel.
Yeah.
Like the third girl, I guess you'd say. I thought she was hilarious. I really liked her story. I liked, I don't know, I liked her pyro tendencies, jihad tendencies, I guess you'd say, even perhaps.
Sure. Yeah.
But I thought she was really great. I don't know. I think she functioned really well with the movie.
Yeah. We'll get to Annie's review later after I've had like 3 sips of water beforehand. But yeah. I agree with you. I didn't really agree. I thought the dramatic element of it was done before. Again, that's sort of another aspect of the film that's templated. You have they have the secret that's obviously going to come out, right?
Yeah.
And then the falling out between the 2 main characters for like 10 minutes, which is like, you got at this point, like, it's fine. You got to do it. It's fine. If I'm enjoying your movie, I don't care. I can let it slide. If I wasn't enjoying your movie, I would probably be really irritated by it. But
Me.
in terms of like Cruise's, yeah, exactly. In terms of Cruise's role in it, I suppose that didn't bother me at all. I feel like they were rude to her and sort of shitty to her the whole time, and that sort of made perfect sense.
Yeah.
Like why she would do that.
Yeah. I think that her getting beat up in the gym was actually like kind of distressing. Like I was waiting for them to all like get on there and like defend her or some shit, and then like when they all just sat there, I was like, oh dude, what the fuck are you doing? Get out there.
I totally agree. She got murdered.
Yeah. There was a bit of fun where she started like taking control, but then she got fucking whipped, Like it was...
Yeah. Exactly.
I will say she felt like the most real character to me, in these extenuated performances. I definitely cared about her the most.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I've probably met like 2 or 3 of those in my life.
Of those.
Mm.
Is this like the Jaden and Liam like unite moment for this podcast?
Oh yeah.
You
The
guys
one
agree?
moment. Yeah, sure.
Yeah,
The
that's the
one.
extent
Yeah,
of
yeah.
it.
Yeah. Exactly. Cool. Okay. No, that's all good. I'm gonna have to let my dog out of the room, unfortunately. But
Mhm.
I do want to transition to Io, of course, in this film. I've got to say, I mean, I liked all the performances in this movie, so we can touch on any others that we want to. But like, I thought her comedy was very different than I'd seen it before. It felt unique to theatre camp. So like, obviously, 2 recent comedies that she was in, easy to compare. But
Mm.
it struck me how different her performance felt in it. You know what I mean?
I don't know. Liam, do you want to take that one off?
Yeah, in the sense that like it's more lazy, or I don't know.
Whoa.
Yeah, I don't really see that. Like, I think it's just as awkward. She's doing the same kind of awkward thing that she does in theater camp,
Really?
or even her like comedy in The Bear is that same kind of genre, I guess, of her like stumbling on her words and being in awkward situations and that kind of thing.
Oh yeah, no,
It's kind
that's
of like
true.
a deadpan sarcasm-ish kind of
Yeah,
thing.
true.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
That yeah, no, that is true. But I don't know. For me, like she's a lot more extroverted in this film. When you think about like that scene where she's yelling and like crying in the car, or she's like screaming in the car, and then she breaks down crying. It's like that's different to me than theater camp, especially where like everything's kind of just understated. You know what I mean? Where it's like she's just like theater camp is more what you were describing. I feel like where it's like there's a like she's just awkward sort of being there.
But
I thought,
Yeah,
I think that's only because she was a far minor character in theatre camp.
yeah. No. I don't disagree with that. But I'm just trying to. The performance felt different to me personally. You know what I mean? So you guys are saying that Io's got no range? Is that what you're saying?
well, she felt a little different, but I think that was mostly because of the heightened kind of performance. I don't think she was doing much different, like comedically.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. I don't get my own handshake moment here, so that's a shame.
Mm.
But it
Yeah.
is what it is. It is what it is.
I guess I was surprised by Kaya Gerber, given that she's a model and that
Oh
I
yeah.
didn't really think that she was interested in acting, but I think I saw that this was like her, I don't know, 5th or 6th role or something like that. So
So you
I
knew
guess
who
she's
she
pretty.
was?
Yeah, she's Cindy Crawford's daughter. That's what I know her as.
Oh, okay.
Cindy Crawford was a very, very famous model in like the 90s.
Right.
Like,
I've heard
she
the
was
name.
like the top model, you know.
Right.
Um,
Okay.
So yeah, I don't know. I was surprised to see her, and then like to see her act like decently, I guess.
Right. You're like waiting for her to bomb.
Yeah, but I mean, like, I guess like since everything's overacted, was she decent, or was that just like her naturally acting?
You'll never know. But it worked. But who cares when the
Yeah,
final
it functioned.
product
Yeah.
doesn't fucking matter. Yeah, exactly. Let's get her in Euphoria and see how we go. Jaden won't watch it, but that'll be the real test. She looks like a Euphoria character. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, she looks like she'd be in The Idol more. Like I could see
Oh,
her being swapped out for Lily Rose Depp in a
in
second.
The Idol.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, that's funny. Can you guys do you keep hearing this scratching?
I can't hear anything.
You can't hear it?
I heard it just then after you said that.
All right, this is actually unbelievable. But anyway, I'll probably have to get up in a second. Okay, all right, now that's cool. For me, like if I'm thinking about certain gags and funny scenes in the film, like of course, there's always with these comedies, there's fun little things you can shout out everywhere, but not for Fitzy, of course. That's he's barred from that aspect of it. But like the final fight, I really actually quite enjoyed. It was funny how like this is another one of those things like intentionality. You assume the fact that it looked like no one was hitting each other at all was like intentional. Because to me that really added to it. The fact that it was like so clearly like it was like pro wrestling stuff, you know what I mean? It's like so clearly like no contact between anyone hitting each other in this movie. You know what I mean? Did you feel that way, Jaden?
Sorry, what?
God damn it!
Something about pro wrestling and
in the final fight in the fight choreography. Did you feel like no one was actually hitting each other? Like the contact was weak as?
Yeah, but like
I thought it was funny.
It was like I think it was like that for most of the film. You know, I
Yeah,
think it's funny that they actually did kill people and like someone get stabbed. I think it brings into an interesting. Nah, don't worry. No, it doesn't. Yeah.
Is this James' new thing he does once an episode?
Yeah.
Well, it's just like because like I'm like, how much do I want to like read into a comedy? I'm like, and then I'm like, is
hey,
it
we're doing a podcast about it. Just go for it.
Nah, fuck it. Oh. Nah, get fucked. No.
There's literally no better occasion. Anyway, all right. I
respect it. Yeah, okay.
I respect it. That's fine. I thought the fighting, was intentionally, hopefully, funny because it looked pretty bad. It was shot well, but just like the actual choreography of like, if they actually wanted to get a better take of it, someone actually looking like they were punching, then they could have done that. But I think it worked fine how it was. The best part though was when the dude like got impaled by the Lord of the Rings sword. You know what I mean? That was a standout. And you get that CG blood in there. Everyone should watch this movie because it's got explosions in it.
What was like? Come on, let's get into what was actually funny about this movie. Like, what did you guys laugh at the most in this film?
I loved the one-liners, or not really one-liners, but I loved how like so many of the conversations built to a line, and I think so many of them felt like something that would be on It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia and be like a cut to title, like especially like that. Yeah, Hazel, let's do terrorism, and then a cut to title, be like the gang does terrorism or something like that. Or I think like a lot of those lines kind of felt like this they set up in a similar fashion to that. So I loved that. I don't know. That was the main thing for me.
Okay, you loved imagining that it was a Philadelphia, Once Upon a Time in Philadelphia. That's it.
Once Upon a Time in Philadelphia.
Once Upon a Time.
Whatever.
Fuck, I'd love that fucking if that became like a 4-hour just epic with those characters.
Oh yeah. Jaden put it well said by Jaden. Put it way better than I could. I would just say that when they all started doing that dance at the end, that thrust dance, like when the football players started doing it, that made me laugh. That's my contribution to this segment.
But I think like also the overacting, like I think like the football player like dipping his tongue into the field and being like it's pineapple juice, like I think that's great, And I think
that's like the skit stuff that Fitzy's talking about.
Yeah, I think the characters that they've kind of written in this film, I just think they're like really perfect kind of parodies and critiques of the typical shit you see and hear about, Because it's one thing to see these things, like just to see these characters in movies, but then you also hear about them in real life. So you're like, oh, hold on, like this is all too real, and then to have like this kind of counter to that is, I think, really funny.
But like, the 2000s already did these types of comedies or critique these, high school stereotypes. It feels too.
That's why it's great. It's bringing it back.
It feels like a decade too old for this shit. It's. I don't know. It doesn't add anything new to it as well. It just like makes it more extenuated and
It has the queer element.
Oh, sure.
Good point.
Because think of other high school dramas you've seen. If there's a gay character in it, they're usually either closeted for most of the film, or they themselves are a caricature on the other end of the scale. And I think of like Mean Girls, I guess, is the one that one that pops straight away. Like he's out, sure, but like the way they use him is very differently. I think this uses gay people very fun in a very fun way.
Yeah.
Actually, one of my favorite jokes can't really repeat, but it's the one where they ride in the locker. That shit's great.
Oh yeah, you can't repeat that, but yes.
No. I'll repeat it after the show though.
Oh yeah. You repeat it in your spare time all day. But I don't know. Like the principal calling over, like, could the ugly and untalented gays please report to the principal's office? Like, you got me, no doubt. Also, I have to say, like, back to my opening point, like there is something to be said for me on an enjoyment level of if it's really obvious to me, and all linked to the performances, of course. If it's really obvious to me that everyone in this movie is having a blast making this movie, it comes off screen and it adds to it. It adds to the whole experience of just enjoyment and fun, in my opinion, as opposed to something more stiff or whatever. You know what I mean? You can, I could tell right away everyone was having a blast making this, and that's fun. So yeah, we had the bloopers as well. I mean, first of all, was that not a fun throwback? Or I don't know. I feel like a few more recent films have started to bring it back a little bit.
Have
You know
they?
what I mean? Well, maybe I'm just Ricky
I was trying to
Stenicki
think
did
as
them too,
well.
which I watched this week.
Who?
Ricky Stenicki did them as well.
Okay.
So it's like I feel like it's and I watched another movie a few years ago. Anyway, I love the bloopers. I want everyone to bring them back. I feel like it's happening a little bit.
Mm.
You know. So I liked them here. Sorry, what were you going to say, Jen? Sorry.
I don't know.
This might be your worst podcast performance of all time.
Get fucked. One time I refuse to say something and one time I forget. Come on, man.
It's absolutely terrible. You know, lift up your game, dude. Did you anyone like the bloopers though?
I actually found the bloopers like fine. Like before it got into the kind of the jokes that they decided to cut and it was actual bloopers, that was like that was good because you got to see I got to see a real person for once. You know, I was stuck with these two-dimensional stereotypes, but then I got you know, I got a little glimpse into the real world, which was good. It's fun.
Sure. Yeah, cool.
And it feels like it became actually funny in those moments where they were like actually themselves and reacting to the jokes that they were making, you know?
Right, yeah. I know, I feel like it was at the whole movie though. That's sort of what I was trying to say earlier, but I'm always constantly in a state of trying to say things, you know what I mean? I'm not saying them very well.
Yeah, sure.
Jaden says things very well though.
Sorry?
Yeah, flawless.
You're very well spoken, Jaden, as a person.
Thanks.
Yeah, I'm just trying to suck it.
Yeah, well spoken, Jaden.
Well said.
Yeah.
Okay. It is true though. While the film is set in present day, the wardrobe and settings range from the 70s to the 2000s. Aside from Tim using a flip phone, no smartphones were used or seen on screen. Did anyone else notice this and question the time period?
No, are you telling me this was a period piece?
I'm actually not joking. I thought multiple times, is this film like set in the 90s or something? Because like it couldn't be based on certain references they were making, but like no one had a phone, and I was just really confused by it. You're telling me there's no social media subplot? Like, come on.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Oh my
I just
God,
kind of thought it was more of
messaged
that,
me last night.
more of that thing about like you know how like Bong Joon so you know he ignores phones for films because like they kill like the mysticism, you know. Because like especially like in crime films, you know, because like phones don't exist in crime films because then you can just record the crime happening, you know. So I just thought it was kind of like one of those things where like, you know, you just ignore the phone.
Okay. I mean, I'm all for ignoring the phone personally, but I did.
Wait, hold on! Don't they established a time period in like 50 years since the first football game? No, weren't they like since 1973? We've been building for 50 years or some shit like that. So it's 2023, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
That's okay.
That's what we're saying.
Sorry, I just am I arguing against myself here?
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, no, I did think you were also saying it was not set in the current day, but like that's weird that they don't have phones, considering like the comedy is so Gen Z, you know. It's like it's strange, but I guess it's like a callback. When like, you're talking about like the critiquing of like high school stereotypes, I guess it's a callback to when those stereotypes are actually more cemented in American culture, you know. Today it's like the jock can also be the nerd and stuff.
Right, which is just false, but you know, what are you going to do?
Hold on, wait, do you actually think that's false? That the jock can't be smart?
No, I don't actually think that.
You see, one of my biggest shocks of coming to high school was that athletic people were also smart people. Because in in primary school, it was one or the other, and then that idea was reinforced by the films I'd seen on TV. So then coming to high school and then seeing people run fast and then do well, I was like, what the fuck? So really, really shattered my reality.
Did we all think we were all like, oh yeah, we're gonna get good grades in high school. That's like our lane. And then like these people come in and it's like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Yeah. Broke our realities. It is an interesting point as well. Like, of course, given the setting being high school, it's like the most phone ridden place of all time. In general. And also, Emma the director being I had one of those moments when I looked at how old she was, and it was another one of those life comparison moments, you know what I mean? It's like, damn. She's doing a good job. Well, Fitzy doesn't think so. But
I like Shiva, baby. I think she did a good job there.
Oh, cool. Okay, sorry. Yeah. I just had to throw that in there. But anyway, when Josie's talking to the Fight Club about her fake juvie experience, she's actually recounting the plot of the Hunger Games. Did you guys pick up on that?
Oh.
Because I feel like I...
It's just tribute. I was kind of like...
Yeah.
Yeah, she said tribute, and I get that was the Hunger... I didn't realize it was like the whole plot, to be honest.
No, I didn't.
Yeah. There you go. That's the case. Okay, I think I'm pretty good if you guys are.
So you guys liked Rachel Sennott in this film, just to be clear? You thought she was good too? She was funny, the main character, she was...
She was my least favourite.
Yeah.
Personally. Okay. But she was fine. I didn't dislike her.
Yeah. I thought, like, in that first scene with her and Io speaking, I was a bit hung up on the fact that, but then I quickly realized, like, it's very intentionally overacted. But, like, I was a bit hung up on her thing there.
But Rachel was, God, he could have been going anywhere with that. Still,
because he was leading up to a butt. So
I still love her. Oh, yeah.
No. What was I saying?
Rachel, you were trepidatious at first.
Yeah. Yeah. That first scene, I was a bit trepidatious, as you say. Good word. But no, like once I got over that hurdle and I realized like that's like the kind of whole style of the film, I thought she was fine.
Yeah, but I agree. I thought she was fine. Like, she wasn't a standout to me. I prefer some of the other characters that we mentioned. Yeah. As to her, ugliness factor, maybe we'll talk about that after the show on Jaden's Triangle scale.
Who's calling her ugly, man?
Well, the film did many times.
Did it?
Oh yeah.
That just goes to the whole parody element. Yeah.
Right. Okay. Andy wrote in a review for Bottoms, and he said, "It takes the 80s high school teen formula and tries to upgrade it for the new generation, but set in the 2000s. I was rather bored with the gender politics of this because part of Seligman's, running gag is that it's a feminist fight club, which is supposed to be empowering, up till the point where the film actually becomes Fight Club for women, but it ultimately became uninteresting. Most of the comedy of Bottoms landed flat for me, more because of the Gen Z-esque humour of the film than the actual politics of it. It sometimes feels like Twitter jokes that aren't funny when being read out loud." Fitzy, do you agree with that? That little bit.
Maybe, like for some of the jokes, yeah.
Okay. It's hard not to recognise the charm of Rachel and Io, though, or the talent and vision that Emma brings to the table. The first 20 minutes or so with the setup of the story was actually enjoyable to watch, as it was just filled with decent joke deliveries from Rachel and Io, with them also being horny over cheerleaders. Exactly. But we had to put up with boring cliches in the middle once other characters became more involved. This next section's a trigger warning for Jaden. The crazy ending at the football game would have worked even better if it wasn't for the grounded drama in between, which feels more tired than rewarding. This is more of a mixed critique between the politics and the tacky Gen Z comedy. Has nothing to do with the performance because it's all right, but that Hazel was the most fucking annoying character. Couldn't stand her in the last 45 minutes or something. She's the one that created the unnecessary... We know who she is, Andy. Yeah, the Jane loves it. Created the unnecessary bomb, which caused trouble for everyone else, and was way over the line with her rebellion against the two protagonists. Her actions made no sense to me, hence why I thought the dramatic plot was mostly insufferable. Thankfully, she got what she deserved at the basketball court, but even that didn't save the film for me. Shiva Baby is a much better film from the director and has a really great performance from Rachel Sennott. Bottoms is okay, but I wished it was more silly to actually earn its praise. It's just another victim of annoying overhype. Maybe because there are too many Gen Z kids on Letterboxd. Well, there's no doubt of that. IO was
Andy
actually
does realize it's Gen Z, right?
yeah, but yeah. But it's one of those things where, like, you know, I don't know what. There's got to be some sort of name for it, but human nature, and you get annoyed at people for being like the same thing you are. You know what I mean?
Mm.
There's definitely like some psychological word for that.
I don't know, self-hatred. I don't know what's it called.
Thingamabobber, ology phobia,
Yeah.
something. I was actually the best part of the film, but I'm probably saying this to impress you guys, though. 6 out of 10. Well, it was just me that liked IO in the film, Andy. But anyway, thank you. 6 out of... Andy.
6 out of 10 is a lot higher than his words indicate.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. Andy, get exposed.
It's like
Luke
the reverse
also...
spooky.
The reverse spooky. Yeah, speaking of spooky, he wrote in a very thorough review for Bottoms, and he said, I would rather shit in my... I love this saying so much. Yeah. I would rather shit in my hands and clap than watch that crap again.
We went to a comedy show a couple of weeks ago now, and the comedian, I can't remember if the opener or the main act, they said that, and when we were walking out, Spooky was like, "That was great, that was fantastic. I've never heard that before." He's like, "I'm going to use that from now on."
He'd never heard of it before a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm glad he's putting it to good use.
Same. Yeah. It never gets old, really, that one. Well, as long as you don't use it for fucking literally everything, but it was well applied here, Luke. Thank you. Okay, let's get to our final verdicts for Bottoms, Liam.
What was that?
Yeah, I heard that too. I thought that was going to be.
I was like a Metal Gear Solid kind of sound right there.
Your mic's fucked.
Oh,
your mic is so fucked.
Wait.
No, it is like you're speaking to a fucking McDonald's speaker from 1948.
You're speaking to a paper cup and a string, dude.
Did you say your score, sorry, Fitzy?
No. Yeah, my final verdict. I don't know. I thought it was just unfunny. I didn't vibe with the comedy, and so I think that made the drama a bit grating later on. So I think it was just kind of a snowball effect, and I just didn't get into it pretty much. So yeah, 4 out of 10 for me.
Cool. I'll give it a 7. I enjoyed it. Jaden,
slap an 8 on it.
Whoa!
Ooh.
Oh my god! Is it getting a where in the ranking is it going?
Oh, good question. That goes on 2023 if it doesn't rank it, doesn't it?
Yeah. Gotta slot it in there. Top 20?
Ooh, I don't know. I'll mute up and I'll sort it out.
Well, hang on. Stay on. Don't do it too soon because we got news chat. We got the Oscars results. They happened. The Academy Awards. Vizzy, were you and Andy in there like from the start in the Discord watching it?
No, I started watching it late because I thought it started at like 11, but it started earlier at like 10 or 10:30, and then I joined the Discord even later. Andy and Luke were already like talking about stuff before I jumped in.
Right.
But, I was there for the later awards.
Cool. Okay, yeah, I jumped in right at the end. I saw Emma Stone win and Oppenheimer win, and I saw the best bit with Al Pacino. You know, that was really good.
Yeah.
I will just say that Oppenheimer winning Best Picture was awesome. I'm very happy that a Chris Nolan film is a Best Picture winner. You know what I mean? And it does feel right that it's this one. You know, not everyone loves weird Nolan like I do, but like. This feels like, of his filmography, this feels like if you were to, not know anything about how they were received at all, you'd like sort of point at this one so far and say like, oh, that's probably the Best Picture winner. You know what I mean? So this
Dunkirk
feels
deserves it.
right. Dunkirk's probably a close second there. Even that is still probably a bit too actiony for Best Picture, to be honest. But it's still historical and everything. But anyway, very happy that Nolan has that under his belt, and it feels right. So I'll just say that. Yeah, Jane, how much did you see?
I think I checked out all the awards after it ended. Just scrolled through the website to look at the list of winners.
You saw Al Pacino's announcement?
I saw like the memes afterwards of that.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So I mean, basically, I don't know. Were there any sort of big shocks? I feel like, I mean, to be honest, I was surprised by the Emma Stone win. I mean, it was between her and Lily.
Yeah.
In my eyes, but I still thought Lily was going to win it, so that was surprising to me.
Yeah, same. Yeah.
I was surprised by the production design win for Poor Things as well. Thought
Oh,
Barbara would get
really?
that for sure. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I can see it, but yeah, no, that's fair.
Mm.
A lot of the other stuff sort of, Killian, I mean, that's great, good for him. That was sort of expected. Robert Downey Jr., same sort of thing. He's definitely my favorite of those. And then it's like Divine, yeah, that's good. You know what I mean? I feel like the rest was, and then obviously Chris. Okay, cool. Well, okay, what about this though? Best adapted screenplay, American Fiction beats Oppenheimer. That was a little bit surprising, I guess.
I haven't seen that yet. I don't really know about that.
How do you feel about that, Fitzy? You watched it this week.
Yeah, I didn't expect that to win. I mean, I didn't see it when it. I didn't see American Fiction, but when the award was read, but I still didn't expect that to win against these bigger kind of films. So yeah, that was a good surprise. That, and I guess Jane mentioned the production design, like Poor Things winning all three of those kind of categories. They won like makeup, costume design, and something else. That was pretty big. Poor Things won more than I expected to, I guess.
Yeah. All those, it makes sense for all those categories for sure. I mean, for original screenplay, I know like Andy, Anatomy of a Fall.
Oh,
you know what I mean? He's I'm sure overjoyed about that. But you were pulling for May December, right, Fitzy, if I'm not mistaken? Like, do you agree? Does Anatomy of a Fall make sense for you?
I think I might have predicted Anatomy of a Fall just because it won it at Cannes. But I guess I, in a dream scenario, May December winning would be good. Or dream scenario, yeah. Yeah, I mean the film Dream Scenario.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, that didn't really
Cool.
get much love, which is fine. I didn't expect any love for it. It's all good.
Yeah, fair enough. You love it, so that's fine. Best animated feature. The Boy and the Heron beating across the Spider-Verse makes me lose all respect for this category forever. So I just want to point that out. Zach will not forget that. Yeah, okay. I think the rest is pretty straightforward. Jennifer picking up an Oscar for Oppenheimer, good for her. That's definitely. I mean, that's some impressive editing there for sure. Zone of Interest with picking up the international film, that's good. I'm very glad that Jonathan won that one.
I still don't know how to feel about Best Score. Like,
really?
Yeah, I don't know.
Oh, because you really like Killer Score, right?
Yeah, it's not even about liking the score more. Like, because I think I do prefer the Oppenheimer score, but I just think I think the score for Killers elevated the film more than what the score for Oppenheimer did. If that makes sense. I think the score for Killers is like super integral to being a part of to for me to be able to enjoy the film, or to even like understand and vibe and like kind of like the texture and fabric that it weaves. I think is like incredibly important. And I think Ludwig did fantastic with Oppenheimer, but I just think that it's just a little bit more interchangeable and a little bit less personalized.
Yeah.
That's fair enough. I know you really like that score from the review as well.
How wait, so did you actually view sorry, you want to read this up, but you watched the actual like presentations, yeah?
I came in at the end. Fitzy watched more
At
of
the
it.
end.
Yeah,
How was Jimmy Kimmel in presenting? Is my question.
he was alright. I felt like last year he was a bit of a. They just put him in as a kind of a safe bet after the previous Oscars, the one before last
Yeah.
year.
Yeah.
And then they're just kind of keeping him there as a safe bet. But
Yeah.
I feel like now that they've done that twice, they can kind of move on and spice things up a bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
He's very safe. Yeah, I totally agree with that.
I heard that's not like a lot of his jokes weren't landing, but then like I saw that thing about
I
like
thought it
him
was fine.
making a joke about like Transformers being written by AI, and I'm like, bro, if I was an actor, I would not sit there and let him talk shit about AI writing scripts. When his fucking monologue is fucking closer to AI generation than anything that produced in Hollywood at the moment.
Oh damn!
I mean, I can sit down, mate. I'm protecting my mates in the industry,
Right? Yeah. Cool.
I think Jimmy Kimmel's a prick. I would just say it. I
was kind of going to say like I didn't understand Jaden was coming in here with a Jimmy Kimmel thing, but
Yeah.
cool. I'm glad you just said it. That's cool. Excellent. Okay. Well, I was going to just mention that before you said that. I was going to mention I might check out the best documentary winner, but
Oh yeah, in what was it? Something days in
20 days in. I don't know how to say it. Mariupol.
Oh, Marvel, yeah.
Mariupol. Thank you.
Yeah. I don't know. How's that?
Yeah. Anyway, that's what I was going to say before Jaden said his piece. So, yeah. I think now we can get to our highlights of the week. I think. Fitzy, what have you been watching?
I did watch American Fiction. I did finish it after the Oscars. Yeah, it was pretty decent. Late, yeah. Well, I watched half of it beforehand,
right.
It was pretty decent. I think what I liked most about it was when it actually strayed away from the concept and did like this family drama stuff that felt pretty disconnected from the main thrust of the movie, if I'm being honest. But it was actually like really well done, and it felt really real. It just felt like in those scenes were in like a good indie movie that was separate from the big concept. I felt like it was a little. It didn't go as deep into the themes that as I expected it to or wanted it to, and I feel like the ending, the whole like last 20 minutes or so, like let me down a bit. And I think the film in general is just like it feels a bit late for the story it's trying to tell. I guess I feel like society's. I feel like the American publishing industry has like moved on a bit from these kind of tropes, but that's just my my theory, my 2 cents there. But yeah, I thought it was decent. I thought like the main performances were really great. Again, like the indie stuff like was really cool. So yeah, I enjoyed the film.
Cool, man. I mean, your insight into publishing, that's interesting. I didn't like really think about that at all. I sort of felt like that side of the plot was sort of that was sort of like the entertaining stuff. It sort of, but for me, it's sort of more serviced. I thought the whole film was really just more about Jeffrey's arc. You know what I mean? And that sort of just linked into it.
Yeah.
And it's sort of on the surface, I guess. So like, I didn't necessarily feel like it was like trying to say something about publishing or about like culture in general, about like the stories we tell and shit. I didn't really. I sort of felt like it was just more.
What do you mean? That was the whole like concept of the film.
Yeah, I know, but I only felt like it was really relevant to like Jeffrey. Like, what's the guy's name? Oh my god.
Oh, like Monk.
Thank you. Yeah, I felt like it was only relevant insofar as how, as Monk's worldview, and how that changes and how that links with his personal life kind of thing. It was sort of like his problem, if that makes sense.
Well, it definitely was that, but I just feel like it was going for some kind of cultural relevance, and if it wasn't, I guess I don't know how to make sense of that. But it's not so much my insight. I just don't. It doesn't feel it doesn't feel like the current kind of trend, I guess. Like I could be totally wrong. Like I could go to America and like go to the nearest best-selling shelf and pick up a book
Fine
about
fuck.
poverty. Yeah. But like, it just doesn't feel accurate, I guess.
Sure. Yeah. Cool. I think I put it up a point right away when Jeffrey Wright did that first when he did that first phone call, like where he had to pretend like he was doing, and he did it with the publisher, you know.
Oh yeah, I mean that stuff was great. Yeah,
Oh, it was so funny.
Jeffrey Wright was great. Yeah.
when he just like sort of threw in motherfucker, like sort of just
Yeah.
I died, dude. That basically put it up a point. It was so good. I finished Jury Duty this week. Have you guys heard of this show?
Oh yeah, I think I've seen most of it.
Is this the one with James Marsden?
Yes.
Yeah.
You've seen most of it, Fitzy.
Yeah, like most of it. Yeah, like not like the first episode or so, but most of it.
Wait, what? What the hell happened there?
Well, my dad was watching it, so I just kind of watched along.
Oh,
with it.
right. Did you see the ending?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, maybe not like the last episode, but I saw them reveal everything at the end.
Right. Well, the whole last episode is them is just the reveal. They just break everything
maybe I
down
did
about
then.
how they did it, which was so cool. Anyway, so do you know what the show is, Jane? It's basically.
Oh yeah, I know about it. Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. So for those who don't, it's a fake fictional show about a court case in America, just some sort of mid civil case. And it's about, you know, the characters are on jury duty, except the whole thing is that one of them is a real person and doesn't know they're in a show. And it was just I thoroughly enjoyed it, man. I thought it was great. I can't believe so like at the end episode, there's 7 episodes where it's like everyone else in the show, the judge, the other jurors, they're all actors, and it's 7 episodes of that where they sort of go through the fictional trial that, you know, and the fictional scenarios that all the writers came up with and all that kind of shit. And then they sort of, you know, they film it. And then it's like, well, how is our one variable going to react to it kind of thing. And the 7 episodes of that. And then the 8th episode is just, they just reveal it to him. And then they just spend the whole episode breaking down it and like basically telling him everything about, and just sort of revealing the truth and breaking down how they did it for the audience and stuff. And, I just had such a blast watching it, man. I don't know. I just love actors. I love actors so much, and like these kind of shows that showcase their skills like this is just, I just find incredibly enjoyable, and it is. I'm just honestly shocked at how talented some of these people are. You know what I mean? And like how these guys are all just like whatever actors in LA, or like, you know, a lot of them had other jobs. They said at the end and stuff like that. It's just like how talented they all were to pull that off for 3 weeks and stay in character and you know, be organic and everything like that. It's just a real feat. And then even on the filmmaking side of, because obviously, so the main dude Ronald, like he knew he was being filmed, obviously, because there's cameras everywhere, so you can't hide that. So he thought he was in another sort of documentary style thing, and I can't even imagine. They mentioned at the end the process of casting him, 2,500 applicants. I can't imagine how difficult that was to find. Yeah, and like not only to like look through all of them and find the right person to make that decision, but like the whole show rests on that decision, basically, essentially. Like, you know, obviously the quality of the other actors is important as well, but at the end of the day, if you hire skilled, talented people, you can trust that they're going to make something of it. It's more that decision is the most important, because you could do all the interviews and think you've got the right person that doesn't know that they're in a show. But like if you're wrong, or if like it doesn't quite play out how you think, like the whole thing's just ends up being mid. You know what I mean? Like it's so like you really don't know how good your show's going to be until you're there doing it, because it could end up just being you could have ended up getting a person that was just boring or that was not responding in interesting ways or whatever. And it turned out to be the total opposite. There's even a bit in the end where they point out that it was so good when they pointed out that like one of the writers had an idea in the script that they cut, and then Ronald actually said it and started doing it like completely spontaneously. And that's It was a Family Guy thing, actually.
Family Guy,
Actually,
sure.
yeah. That was unbelievable, and it's like at that moment they must have known they've nailed it. Like, there's nothing more serendipitous than that, basically. So, anyway, fantastic show. I recommend everyone check it out. Very entertaining, totally ridiculous at times too, with like when they, because they obviously still have like scripted storylines and stuff, and like some of that stuff gets totally absurd and sort of fun in its own way, I suppose. It sort of ends up feeling like an Office episode with the way it's directed, because it sort of is like a pseudo, mockumentary is a style of filmmaking, but it's like, because one of the people actually think they're in a documentary, it sort of has this weird effect where you end up like looking at him all the time, so that's what adds that extra element to it. So yeah, it's on Amazon. Check it out.
The guy was like
Jaden.
so.
Sorry.
I just want to say that the guy was like really. He was like the nicest guy like possible. Like he was so great. Yeah.
But you could tell totally genuine too. Like, it wasn't like in every
yeah.
situation he was like still got frustrated and was navigating the real situations like a real person would. But yeah, totally.
he was trying as well. Yeah,
100%. Yeah, he really was. You couldn't. That was one of the things they said at the end too, is that how the writers had to keep rushing to account for the fact that he was actually like unraveling their storyline better than that they had really known that anyone would. Which was really funny for them to say that. But yeah, it was a really cool show. They nailed that casting for sure. Jaden, what have you been watching?
Not much. Again, like another weekless movieless week. But I did watch a bit more Modern Family. I guess I'll talk about that now because so I can been a journey, and so I don't have to speak about it later. I'm on season 8 of 11, which is farther along than I thought I was. Because I thought I had way more to go, but 2.5 seasons left is a good place to be. Unless I'm wrong in that, unless there was way more seasons, I don't realize.
No, there's 11.
Oh, okay.
My brother's watching it too. He's on.
Yeah, good.
Yeah.
It's been really fun. Like, at the start, like for the first 3-4 seasons, I'd say, I was surprised by how many episodes I'd recognized that I must have just seen at some point on television somewhere. But then after that, it started getting to very unfamiliar territory where I didn't recognize anything. I think the casting for this show was really integral, and keeping the same cast for so long, the fact that they went 11 seasons and didn't change anyone is really impressive. I think, especially with the child actors, the fact that all the child actors stayed on and were able to play their character well is a great feat. I think now you're kind of starting to see a bit of a dip in quality. I think just in terms of I'm not laughing as much, and it feels like since all the kids are maturing, I feel like the storylines are shifting a bit to a point where I'm not vibing 100%. But it's still very good, still very fun. I love that every time I do this big watch of a comedy show, catch up, that I'm like, never again. I'm not going to do another one. And then 2 weeks down the track, I'm 5 seasons in on another one. So
yeah.
So
I was going to say, when did you start this?
Probably. I don't actually know. Good question.
Like a year ago, or like a month ago?
No. January-ish, maybe. I think
this year.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. That's impressive. That's
impressive. Maybe December, but yeah, I think January. Yeah.
Yeah, cool. No, that's impressive. Yeah, I was going to ask. Was that so far? Has there been anyone slip? Has there been any character, any performance in terms of the kids growing up where you're like, oh, you were in a bit of a teenage mode right now where your performance isn't hitting as much,
I think the actor for Luke, I think there's a bit of uncertainty around his acting, but I think that's because they keep his character too similar. It feels like they haven't allowed his character to fully grow at the moment. But once he hits his uni story, which will be coming up soon, I wonder if they'll change that. I think he's the only one that because he went from being as a child one of the best parts to now being his late teens, and I'm like, I could do without some of the storylines.
Yeah. I mean, I would be the same way if I were, because I've seen it. I feel like I've seen a fair bit of Modern Family, but I would be the same thing where past a certain season, I would just have no idea what the hell's going on. Now comes the segment where we hand the show over to you with our question of the show. Last week we asked you a very deep question. Should directors get as much credit as they do for their films? Andy Lau wrote in an essay, so if you guys haven't thought this through yet, you got a bit of time here. Andy said, we don't have to go through how much of the creative process a director goes through all the way from pre-production to post-production. All of my favourite films are mostly because of the director / auteur, because that's where cinema becomes masterful. Celine Song's quietly enthralling work for Past Lives is enough evidence to justify my response, even if she might be too humble to admit it. I think that might be a simple way to answer this question, regardless if the movie was personal to the director or not. Naturally, directors should get a lot of credit if their film actually performs well, because if it isn't, they can still get shit on for their poor or average direction, as they do control the entire making of a film. There can be many instances where, well, except where the studio gets involved, there can be many instances where they should blame the studio. Oh, damn it, sorry, Eddie. The studio or / producer for forcing decisions they didn't make. But Elizabeth Banks has no one to blame for how shit her Charlie's Angels reboot was. It's also important to acknowledge the significant contributions of the entire filmmaker and production team as they put in their legwork to bring the director's vision to life. But ultimately, anyone can have their own say on this. Most people do watch a movie for their favourite actors, composers, or Nick Cave. That's for sure. And a movie can generally be successful because of the great acting performances instead of the direction. Random examples I'm thinking of are like Will Smith for The Pursuit of Happiness or King Richard, Joaquin Phoenix for Joker, Marianne, how do you say Cotillard? I don't know how to say her name, sorry. I know
Cotillard?
exactly.
Is there an L there?
Cotillard, I think, yeah.
Yeah, there is an L.
Cotillard.
Yeah.
Oh, there
But
is.
I think you ignore the L, don't you?
Yeah, that makes sense. Thank you. Marianne Cotillard. For La Vie and Rose, or whatever. Or Carey Mulligan in every single of her leading roles since 2015 and onwards. People enjoy their films because of how well they are acted, but the director usually gets ignored. Well, Todd Phillips gets recognised, but I thought it was undeserving because it was wank. While the film direction might be mediocre, the directing of their actors is pretty good, I must admit. So, directors should get most of the credit after all. I hope this didn't feel like too much of a thesis. Feel free to agree or disagree. No, that was actually, you know what, Andy? After reading that, that's actually one of the better essays you've written. You've made an argument, you spelled it out, had a conclusion. Well done. You know the structure. Very well done. Jai wrote in and said, I agree to disagree on that. Thank you, Jai. That's definitely, we got your take there. That's good. And then I've got to scroll. And then Luke said, nope, directors are overrated. Andy just showing up the rest of the Discord this week. But thanks everyone for sharing your opinions. Got some different takes there, for sure. Okay. This is an interesting one. Jaden, this was your question originally. You conceived of it. I wonder if it's because at the time, or maybe still, you feel that directors are overpraised.
Sure. In short, yes, I think 100%. I think it's, but even at the end of the day, I think it's not so much that they're overpraised. I think it's that writers are overlooked. And when you have someone that writes and directs their own movie, then it's obviously not an issue. But I'm going to take aim at the big man again, but I think Steven Spielberg is very lucky in his career to have picked up some of the scripts that he has. I think he is obviously a fantastic director in the way that he can construct scenes and stuff like that. But then people that praise him for his stories, I think, are just, wrong, because they're not his stories. He doesn't write. He finds something and then he chooses to adapt that. Mm-hmm. So I think often when talking about him, the big man, he I think he gets credit where credit isn't due, because he's not telling these stories, well, he is telling this, he's communicating them, but he's not the one that's writing them. So that's I think that's where I conceived of the question. And I think it goes for a few of the big ones,
Ridley,
where they're kind of taken away spotlight on writers. But then I also think that in the modern day, actually, I don't know the extent of it, but it seems like in the modern days, it's more frequent where you kind of have this production scaffolding especially in these like kind of big studio films with your Marvels and Star Wars and all that, where the director has less of a say. So then, like, you can't really contribute that to the director's work because they can only add so much from what the studio has dictated. You know, because like saying that like the Eternals is like the most like independent Marvel's film, and for there you can probably say that Chloe Zhang, I think Chloe name
Zhao.
Zhao. Yeah. I think you can say that she had her fair spin on it, but then I think like I was looking back at like Black Widow, like I don't think you can call Black Widow a Kate Shortland film.
Is that based on feel?
Based on feel, yeah.
Yeah, I understand.
But then again, like that's why like the question's like gone two ways for me, where like they don't deserve the credit or they can't get the credit, you know.
Right.
So like, yeah. Obviously, there's I don't know, but yeah, for me that's the essence. It's the fact that it's people overlooking writers and then people underselling producers or the role of the producers in the studio. You know.
Yeah. I mean, I like exactly. I love how you put that when you said that Spielberg communicates the stories. That is what it is for a filmmaker who didn't write their film. You know, that's exactly what it is, and that's really interesting. Obviously, I'm someone who's always and always is very interested in behind the scenes stuff and like making ofs and all that kind of shit. And I'm watching The Offer right now, and that's like only cemented like of how many people it takes to make this goddamn movie happen. You know what I mean? And obviously the director's important. So I guess for me, in thinking about all the different roles and Jaden highlighting the writer's fantastic. For me, I don't think I agree that I don't think directors are overrated, but I think other disciplines don't get enough credit, you know, and it's that Tarantino thing of like the director has the vision, but then everyone else makes it happen. The director makes the decisions, and then you assemble the best team, and then they bring it to life. But then that team is just often snubbed. Actually, almost always snubbed, mainly by audiences, to be honest. If I'm trying to assign blame, I'd probably put it mostly on us. Like even us doing this podcast, to be honest. Like at times, like we
100%.
We shout out. You know, Jaden actually is probably the best at it here in terms of like shouting out editors and shouting out, you know, sound designers, all that kind of shit, production designers.
I thought you were going to say we overcompensate for the director. Sorry, no.
Wait, you disagree with what I'm saying?
I think I'm certainly guilty of giving too much credit to the director.
Yeah. But yeah. I think you're the best of it though. But okay. You know what I'm saying? Because I think you shout out the other disciplines quite a bit. But regardless, I think we all do that a bit with the director, and I think it's mainly more of a comment on how film fans are, and just how I don't know how there is a bit of a cult of personality around a lot of directors. You know what I mean? That I buy into for sure. Like I'm not going to deny it. Like we do it with Denis. We did it with Denis last week. You know what I mean? I'm not necessarily saying it's a bad thing, as long as you know we can also shout out those other disciplines. But I think audiences I mean, first of all, obviously, base level audience doesn't even know who directs movies, right? So like that's
sure.
They're not in this conversation, right? You know that is what that is. But in terms of then that next level of like us letterbox people. You know, we're like, we know who direct movies. We're cool. We're cinephiles. You know what I mean? We're interested. But it's like, do we know who fucking did the production design for every movie we've ever seen? No. I'm not saying we need to know that. I don't want to be mixed up, but I'm just saying that it is important to acknowledge how important the other roles are in bringing a movie to life. And for particular films where a particular maybe element of the film stood out, you know, understanding who did that kind of thing and not just like putting it all on one person. I think that's important, and I also have to say, I think speaking of Nolan with that Best Picture win, I think Nolan always does he's probably the best person in terms of directors I listen to in interviews. He always does a really good job of shouting out the actual names of the people who work under him on his films and bring certain aspects to life. He always does it. For example, I knew off the top of my head that Andrew Jackson was Nolan's VFX supervisor on Oppenheimer, simply because I heard Nolan. When he was talking about the film, he said in 4 or 5 different videos, I heard him say the dude's name. You know what I mean? It's like, and that's just, and it's like, I think that's what we need more of, in my opinion. It's just like more shouting out, more recognition for those people. And then sure, Nolan can win his best directing Oscar and everyone can praise Nolan, that's great. But it's just an understanding of what the job is and everyone else involved in it is sort of my opinion. So I want to see more of that.
Yeah, I think I agree with both of you. It wasn't always this way, I guess, like when movies first started. Auteur theory didn't exist yet, so it was just like the company and the production that got the credit. But yeah, I agree. And then like that started to happen, I guess, in the 30s or whatever, around that time. But I agree that writers should get more credit because they're integral to molding the vision of the film and molding the talent around them. So yeah, I don't like it's not really practical to like for directors to like call out every single kind of role that helped make the film what it was in like interviews and stuff like that. But like sure, I don't think like more credit should be dispersed to other sections of the movie making industry, but writers for sure is a big one that I think culture is catching up on. We had Mank that was like a watermark for other writers. So not really, I'm joking, but yeah, I agree with the writer thing.
Well, I was going to say the other thing is I think that directors get a lot of credit for cinematography. I think when people say like people, especially on Twitter, people post a screenshot and be like, "Oh, Nolan was crazy for this shot" or whatever. I'm like, wait to frame that. I was like he conceived that. I was like,
yeah, right.
I was like,
that's exactly what I'm talking about.
So I think that's the I think cinematography is probably going to be the next one that gets its big kind of overhaul in recognition.
Yeah. Well, on that train of thought, I was going to say, so I think what you mentioned, Fitzy, about like how the director wasn't even really recognized, so many years ago, and how that's changed. It's like, do we see it evolving, like to the point where, like, sort of not necessarily one at a time, but like, do we see us in 50, 70 years, like being a lot better about, oh, wow, Nathan Crowley's next film he's doing the production design for is coming out soon. Let's pay attention to that. I'm interested in that because I like his work. You know what I mean? Like, is that something we see changing?
Yeah, I think so. I think it's just like culture is much slower to catch up on the other parts of the industry, the writers and stuff like that. But I do think like you do see some trailers like from the makers of or from the writers of this and that. Like it's becoming more common these days, I feel like. So just like we had auteur theory for directors in the 30s, maybe the 2030s will be the writers and the cinematographers and the fucking costume designers and shit.
Yeah. I think it is funny how it does feel like they're at different levels of progress. Like directors, obviously, that's why this whole thing was brought up. But then like I feel like composers like get it pretty good.
Yeah.
Cinematographers, or like I agree with your point about the Twitter, Jane. So like there's work to do, but also compared to the others, also get it not too bad.
Yeah.
So they're also in the composer might be a bit better than that, but then like the composer's probably a lot better than it was 50 years ago as well. So it's like we are at these different levels of progress. I definitely strongly agree that if we're looking at these different bars of progress, that then the writer has to be the next one we have to do better there, especially.
I think it helps composers in the fact that they have an individual market because when you sell a record, a CD, or you stream it, you see it under the name of the composer, So I think that helps boost them in terms of the,
right. Like they almost have their own output for the product as well. Yeah. That's totally true. Yeah. But it is funny. I remember seeing on like the Killers of the Flower Moon poster, for example, like it says right on the top of it, directed by Martin Scorsese, written by Eric Roth, like next to each other. So like to Fitzy's point, if that's the direction we're going in, that's good. That's positive stuff. I want to see more of that, as opposed to just a Martin Scorsese picture. You know what I mean? And then like Eric Roth's name down the little fucking blur.
Yeah, in like the little
that fucking, I don't even know, mess of text down the bottom. You know what I mean? So like, if that's happening more, then that's good. Good stuff. As always, we'd love you to submit your responses, thoughts, and or reviews for next week's film in the YouTube or Instagram comment section, or join the Discord server. This week, the specific question we'll be asking you, unfortunately, is who is the best Scooby-Doo character? Liam, why are we asking the peeps out there who the best Scooby-Doo character is?
Because we had a massive poll winner, absolute landslide. Scooby-Doo on Zombie Island won the poll against The Remains of the Day. Because who wants to watch a depressing Anthony Hopkins film when you got a Scooby-Doo film right in front of you? Animated. Like, it's like an hour and 10 minutes. It's
I mean, that part's
easy choice.
cool. Can I just say that I've lost all respect for you as a poll opponent?
Listen,
and-
I'm picking things from our Stan, Foxtel, Netflix, Prime Video watch list. Okay, I'm not picking
I feel like
anything special.
I feel like in the past we've had a mutual understanding and respect for, like, you know, not that necessarily won't pick popular choices, but like, you know, a bit of consideration for, like, are these films that the rest of us are going to be interested in discussing? Are these films that, like, aren't just a clear, easy, like,
I
take
want
it
to
the
discuss
bank
this
win?
film. Maybe you don't want to, but I want to discuss this film. I want to discuss Scooby-Doo. You know, we've never talked about Scooby-Doo. It's a whole genre of storytelling right there that we haven't tapped into.
No, we have discussed it in Zach's lack of consuming it.
Yeah, because it's dog shit. But you know, anyway,
You can't call it a disrespectful choice just because you're not interested in it.
no, I mean, I'm a bit bummed, but it's disrespectful because you knew you had it. You knew before you chose it.
I knew once you started laughing. I didn't think it was going to be that popular. Like, I only chose this because I've watched like 15 minutes of it like a week ago, and then I forgot about it. And so I
But
put it on.
what on earth did you think could actually compete with that?
I don't know. I wasn't really thinking about the win. I was just thinking about a film I wanted to watch. You know,
All right.
I'm not
Okay.
win-brained. I'm not fucking capitalist. Fucking dominate everything. Fucking mindset.
Take it.
Brained like you are.
You can only take him at his word, folks. You know, analyze it how
You're
you
just
will.
projecting your mindset onto me. That's what's happening.
Possibly, but I just want everyone to remember for the next poll, if there's something like this happens again, just keep it in mind. And Zach, maybe Zach.
I'm gonna pull up all your bullshit, super popular choices that you've pulled throughout the years. I only started winning recently, and you're pissed about it.
I've never gone so low as Scooby-Doo.
You say recently, but like it's now been what, fucking 9 months of wins or some shit like that.
Yeah, it's
9
not
months
that
is a
recent.
lot long.
In the history of the show.
Streak.
No, it's a long streak, but it hasn't been 9 months. I haven't been winning for 9 months.
It 100% has, if not longer.
No. It's been like 6 months or something.
It's been a while. It's been a
while, man.
Oh man, honestly, Fitzy can pretend he's all honest about it as much as he wants. But
I feel like I've lost 6 times alone, man. What are you talking about?
Jane, you're gonna have to like start playing the game. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're gonna have to do it for us next time.
Yeah.
I'm not playing a game. Oh my god! I picked the film that I was watching already.
Says the guy who watches Survivor. He knows what he's doing.
I think I need to play the game on the next one just to free us from this, and then from there I'll be genuine. You know.
Right. Yeah, just every time like liberation is needed,
Yeah.
we can play the card, and then we're back.
Oh
to
my
normal.
god! You're so full of shit, Zach. Like.
Oh man! All right, you can check out the Scooby-Doo and the Not Remains of the Day on Stan. Right, Stan?
Yeah, it's on Stan.
Excellent. There you go. Okay, but yeah, that's it for this week. Thanks for tuning in. I appreciate Liam and Jaden for joining me as always. Have a great rest of your week, and goodbye.